Today we play an old version of Minecraft with some really weird features. So let's see what Minecraft used to be like. Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another awesome Minecraft video for you guys today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Minecraft Pocket Edition, a very old version, the 0.8.1 alpha version of this game. And the reason why we're on this version is because I believe this version was was probably what I consider, the baseline to when, I guess, Pocket Edition became more modern, because 0.9.0, the update after this, was when a lot of things got added, most specifically, infinite worlds, caves, and all that, so we're going to be playing a really old version today. But, right before we get started, if you guys could do me a favor to help me hit a like goal, that would be fantastic. If we can, maybe let's try to go for 8 likes for today's video, that would be awesome. Go down there and slap that like button down below, and let's get started. Alright, so first thing I want to show you guys is the settings, because the settings are super bare bones. Back then, you didn't really have, accounts yet, right? I guess, there were technically, the beginning of what accounts were like for Minecraft Pocket Edition, because as you guys can see on the lower left, that invite to Realms Alpha, back then they were testing out how the Realm servers were gonna be, and it was free back then, but it was a test, so it was very limited time, and that's how you got to play with servers with some other friends. But for names, you can honestly change your name to whatever. I put my name there. The difficulty slider honestly only looks like a slider, but as you guys can see, you can't really leave it in the middle or anything. It's just either to the left or to the right. So, peaceful or normal. I'm pretty sure. There's a third-person view, and you can turn on local server multiplayer. In these controls options, you can really just mess with the sensitivity. You can invert the y-axis, or, the lefty controls just puts the D-pad on the, right side. I like playing with split touch controls. It just puts the crosshair in the middle instead of touching wherever. The D-pad size, you guys know what that should be. It's just the size of the D-pad. Then you can turn on whether or not you want your device to vibrate, if it can vibrate, when you destroy a block. I like to keep that off because I'm not going to lie, it feels kind of odd. I don't know. Over here, these are the graphics options. You can just really mess with the view distance. I'll show you guys what that looks like when we're in game. There's fancy graphics, beautiful skies, animated water, and you could hide the GUI if you want to, get some cool screenshots in there. And for sound settings, I'm not going to lie, I don't know why they put a separate tab for sound when all you can do is change the volume with the slider and really nothing else. So, super bare bones, but, does the job, and I think it was good enough. Okay. So now, the only thing you can really click here is play. And I do already have some world. The test world there, honestly, is just a world I made to make sure this worked. So, by the way, when you click edit back then, you can pretty much, see the seed of your world. I thought that's pretty cool, but I'm just going to delete that because the other two worlds are survival worlds that I've owned forever. I've showed these worlds on the channel before, and as you guys can see, I've kept the world files since, and they actually work on this really old update, so, because they were made before Infinite Worlds, so I'll showcase some of these later. But before that, there's actually a few things you can do here. If you click edit, you guys see external. That's how you added servers back then. You had to know the, IP address, you can name it whatever, really, and the port of the server, and then you add the server. I don't think there are any servers that work on 0.8.1 anymore, so unfortunately we can't really test that. But what I can test are the creative worlds and show you guys, I guess, basic features of the game. So new, and you know what? This is a pretty throwback seed. I think this one was popular back then, so Nyan, I think, and then generate world. By the way, this should generate really fast because this is like an old version of Minecraft running on modern phone hardware. So let's see how fast this generates. So let's go. Okay, not as fast as I thought. I thought it'd be instant, but check this out. Yeah, I know, really cool spawn area, right, guys? So the reason why this seed was a big deal was, first of all, since there were no caves in the world, right? Technically, we kind of saw this as a cave, really cool, extreme hill style thing going on. Lava was also pretty rare in some worlds, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, so it was just kind of cool seeing it, like, right off the bat. And you kind of had everything in this world. You got the plains biomes, you got some spruce trees, you got snow. Because this is, like, a finite world, right? You will literally have some worlds that just don't have some biomes in the game. So as you guys can see, we can literally see the world border from here. And I'm not gonna lie, this is some weird generation. Hold up, wait, did this happen back then? You guys see how, like, the, sugarcane and the trees are, like, occupying the same block? Or... No, wait, no, they're not. The, the sugarcane is, actually taking it over. Okay, that's really strange. I didn't know that back then. By the way, here's things we don't have in this game. You know, obviously we don't have infinite worlds, we don't have caves, so the only real way to go caving was strip mining everywhere. No redstone, no hunger. What else did we not have? I mean, you guys can tell, like, it's a very bare bones version of Minecraft, which, you know, was still super fun back then. The fact that we could play this in survival was pretty cool, so awesome stuff. But yeah, I don't know, it's still pretty cool. I like how it just runs so flawlessly now. I swear back then I had like an I think it was like an iPhone 4, and I had to play with like lower graphics settings, or even a seed like this would be kind of like difficult to run. Okay, let me show you guys how the lower graphics settings would look like too, because I'm not gonna lie, back then you would have had to have like a really good device for this. And okay, fire starting because lava, obviously. So let's stand right over here so you guys can see the difference in, I guess, the render distance and all that. So there we go. And alright, so let's pause the game, options, and okay, we're just gonna bring it down 1 every time so you guys can see how little we see next. So bring it down by 1, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't see too much of a difference. You know, I feel like, you know, you see a little more fog there, but you still see pretty far away for the most part. We bring it down by 1 more, you can notice, you know, the fog coming in a bit more. I feel like you still have a pretty generous radius, but the moment you go all the way down to 1, yeah, you guys can see the fog just set in right off the bat. And yeah, I mean, this was just the reality. You know, you had a weaker device back then, you just kind of needed to do this. Also, you know, it did help if you just turned off, you know, fancy graphics, beautiful skies, and animated water. As you guys can see, differences are, you get no clouds. The trees, you know, you can't see through I guess the leaves anymore, and water, you know, and lava are no longer animated. And this honestly did help the game run even more smooth back then. But you know, now with like modern phone hardware, by the way, if you guys are wondering what phone I'm using to record this, this is a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. It's not the most up-to-date device, but you know, obviously to this game, it probably feels like I'm running this on like a NASA supercomputer or something. So pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, let me showcase the blocks and all that stuff. So bam. So these are all the blocks we have available. Now, we don't have the nether in the game, but you guys will probably notice we have stuff like quartz, nether brick, and all that. I'll show you guys how we got that later, because in one of my survival worlds, I think I do have all the features to showcase this. Oddly enough, we also did have like mossy blocks. These are purely for creative mode, I'm not gonna lie, because we don't have generated structures like that, so I actually don't think you can get these in survival. In terms of tools, we do have all the mobs, like, you know, creepers, zombies, and skeletons and all that, but for some reason, they just did not let us play with the spawn eggs. I don't know why. We had TNT, though, so, you know what? Let's explode something, just to see, how the explosions looked back then, because, you know, these are old textures, obviously. Maybe the old animations looked a little different, too. So, let's put one down, and then, alright, let's check it out. I mean, yeah, cool stuff. All right, and then, oops, didn't mean to go there. These are all the blocks we have access to. You guys probably see a really weird block. This right here is a Nether Reactor core. This is actually what lets us get all the Nether stuff, and you have to make a specific pattern to get this thing to work. So oddly enough, you can't do it in creative mode, so I'm gonna have to do this in survival to show you guys how to use this thing. So this will be really cool to show you guys. I keep going back there instead of opening the menu, but yeah, these are all the other blocks we have in the game. So, you know, pretty decent stuff, pretty cool. We have chests, we have beds. It took a while to get this stuff in game, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I genuinely do think like chests were like a pretty big deal. Like 0.4.0, we finally got chests, so we can actually, you know, keep stuff in and store them. And then beds, I don't remember which update this was, but yeah, back then we just didn't have beds, so we literally just had to, like, wait out the night. So, yeah, spend the night indoors and all that. But when we got beds, it was so nice to skip the night and all that stuff. So, okay. Let me show you guys what the survival experience would be like. We're not going to obviously play, like, a full night. We're just going to create a survival world right now. Building terrain, see how our seed looked like. So, yeah. This is what the layout looked like, you know. You got your mobs, you know, spawning around. It's still Minecraft, guys. It's still Minecraft. You just don't get the caves. You don't get anything. But, you know, you still get the first basic experience, right? You find a tree. You punch the wood. And then... there we go. By the way, you can't change your skin, like, without doing a lot of roundabout stuff. Like, the game just didn't let you change your skin. Because I'm a Steve right now. But... if I change the skin, I would have to literally go into the game files to do it, right? And then if I enter the server, everyone would look like my skin. It's just how it was back then. I don't know. Took them a while to figure that out, I guess. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then, you know, this is what the crafting menu looked like. I actually do think this was a really, really cool crafting menu. You know, very simple, does the job. You make your crafting tables, you make your sticks, and then, you know, when you get your crafting table, it expands the list of things you can make from that crafting menu. So, there we go. You have even more stuff to show. And then, you know, obviously you make your pickaxe here, you make all your armor stuff here, and then all your other miscellaneous stuff. And then there was actually a second crafting table. So eventually, as updates went on, right, you know, the crafting table would just get longer, and it would be a pain to, you know, scroll down when we got even more items. So the way they fixed that was to basically create another crafting table. So let me show you guys this. I believe you actually needed, like, 4... cobblestone, so I'm trying to, like, break it. I don't know why it's not letting me. There we go. Alright, that was really weird. Oh, we found iron right off the bat. But there we go. And there we go. Okay. Okay. And then bam. So this here is called a stone cutter. We have a stone cutter nowadays. It's that thing that looks like a saw, and I'm not gonna lie, I think they do pretty much similar things. They just kind of you know, deal with stone related stuff. But the reason for this to exist back then was to basically separate all the stone crafting into here. That way, you know, we didn't have like a way too big list of stuff to craft over here and just separate it into a whole nother block. So I thought that was a really good idea, pretty creative and all that, and yeah. So this was basically the survival experience. You would just, you know, there's really no end game. You know, you find your diamonds by doing a lot of strip mining, you build your house, you do all that stuff. And let me show you guys what, like, you know, a lot of, I guess, survival does. So these two worlds on the bottom are old survival worlds I've had. Hardcore, obviously, is me trying to do a hardcore survival, and as you guys can see, that loaded in so quick, by the way. And I think this world was, it existed for a while, actually. It looks like we actually got to when the Nether Reactor got added. But, yeah, this is basically all you could really do in the game, right? This was a cool seed too, by the way. You know, I got a huge mob trap going on, which honestly works really well, as you guys can see. Oh my gosh. Okay, whoa, it's working too well. Okay. Yeah. We got a melon farm. I'm showing you guys how we got melons later on, because obviously, you know, there's no jungles, but there are ways to get melon seeds. You have, you know, your chickens, your sheep, and, you know, I just built stuff, and just so I had, like, trees and didn't always have to go to the mainland. But if I wanted to get to the mainland, I built this, like, I guess, platform here, so I can just easily go there. This is just a village I made, I'm not gonna lie. Like, again, all you could really do was build, so I was trying to make, like, a village with gravel pathways and all that. Pool area right there. But my actual base was actually underground, so check this out. I'm not gonna do, like, a full tour. We're just gonna do, like, a quick skim, because I've, like, toured this world before. And I'm not gonna lie, I tried to, like, get back on the ladder just like that. So my base is actually down here. I made, like, an underground base, so... Alright, there we go. And... alrighty, so check this out. I actually cheated in some blocks. So this was a series I was doing like so long ago. I no longer have the episodes up, but I remember there was a time where like I just didn't upload for a while, so I put like cobwebs all over the place to, you know, make, you know, as a joke, be like, guys, it's been so long I was on that, yeah, cobwebs like started growing. It's just been that long. By the way, if I'm right, this is my bedroom, right? There should be... Oops, did not mean to hit that. Okay, I am not used to these controls anymore, and I need that to be a painting again. Alright. Okay, I'm trying to, like... There we go. I hid my diamonds behind here. So, my diamonds. We have, you know, some pretty cool stuff here. And you guys are probably wondering, okay, so why is there food in the game if there's actually no hunger? I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that there's no hunger bars. Well, it's actually a good time to show you guys, because you guys see how my health is, like, down 3 hearts? Food, literally, would just heal your hearts. So, you ate, and then there we go. It just healed your hearts just like that. So, food was super valuable back then, and kind of, you know, went an even longer way. So, yeah. But yeah. This is just a base I made. I don't know. I kind of thought it'd be nice to have like an underwater base, so I built something like this. Pretty cool stuff, in my opinion. And I actually want to show you guys, you know, stuff we had to do back then. Because, okay, so these are farms, right? So I told you guys how we had no redstone. Let me actually hold some torches because I believe it's dark down there. Let's see. So we had to be a little creative with how we tried to automate as many things as possible. So, sugarcane farms, you know, whatever, can't really automate these, we didn't really have any blocks to break it, but mushroom farms, there was something I did think of, okay? So, the issue with mushroom farms, right, first of all, mushrooms are very rare in these worlds, because, you know, they're not infinite, right? And they have to be very dark, so if you had mushrooms, you had to, like, plant them somewhere dark, so I did something like this setup. Again, I put a lot of cobwebs here just because. The whole, you know, haven't been here in a while thing. But honestly, so you see how this works, right? I put a bunch of mushrooms out back, and then they would just grow in like any of these blocks here. I think a skeleton actually like managed to spawn in there. Do we have a bow and arrow? Let me see. Let's see if I can get this guy. Okay, it's a lot tighter than I thought. There we go. And then there we go. All right. So, you know, I could just, like, stand in here, get the mushrooms and all that, but something I thought of back then was, what if I just, like, placed water here, and then I would just break this cobblestone, and then I'll hit that mushroom, bring it down all the way here, and I can pick it up and put it in that chest, right? So, I know, it's not really a redstone, but, you know, it's just my way of automating this that somehow worked out. I can just replace that block again. It'll hopefully fix this water, and then I can get that mushroom whenever I need to, and place it in here, and yeah. So not fully automated, but, you know, as you guys can see, it did do the job. Alright, let's grab this. Oops, okay, it's so hard to hit this block. What the heck is going on? I don't know. By the way, it was a pain to download this. Like, back then, all you had to do was download an APK, and, you know, like, yeah, it installs, right? But since we're on the newest Android, for some reason, some old APKs just don't work, and you have to do, like, a roundabout way of fixing it. It was just weird. It took a lot of time, but that could also be why, you know, the game could be buggy, because it's not technically supposed to run on new Android, but, you know, we just kind of force it to. But, yeah, you know, underground tree farm, and this was the world border, so pretty cool stuff. It's a pretty basic world, in my opinion, but yeah, it was just me playing hardcore. Never died once, so cool stuff. Alright, now this other one is a old Let's Play world. It's called Survival Tube Season 2, so Survival, YouTube, Season 2. There was a Season 1, but I'm not gonna lie, I like, remember that world ever so slightly, and, dude, I just lost that world. I did not save that world, because, yeah, but this one, I think I had, like, 50 episodes. All these videos are private, by the way, so, but I did keep the world for the memories, so open it up. Works just fine, and I think I've showcased this world before, and the chunks aren't loading, but yeah, this is what I guess, you know, a lot of survival would look like in a, I guess, old world for Minecraft Pocket Edition. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best builder, right? But I feel like I did a pretty good amount. Oh, this is my mob trap. Check this out. I was kind of proud of this because it was a different style from the one you guys saw in the hardcore world. What it is for this one, as you guys can see, I made something down there and then like kind of forced them to like come up here, right? And then, let me see, if I go up here, I think there are ladders. Yep. All right. Yeah, it kind of like drowns these guys. So, it's a little more work, but I feel like it's much better than having like a big thing like drop mobs. This one's like a little more low-key, and it still does the job. As you guys can see here, we literally have so much mob drops. Like, I have bones for days. Yeah, as you guys see, yeah, we literally have so much stuff here, and I'm very happy with how this works. So, awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Let me just, I'll keep the arrows, actually, just in case anything happens, but the powder can go away. Alright, let me show you guys what mining looks like, too, because, I told you guys, no caves, right, so all it is strip mining. So, let me show you guys how much I did. Luckily for me, I made it so easy to get all the way down there. Here we go, land it properly, and then, yeah. All it is strip mining, and this isn't even all of it. I just eventually started mining here when I wanted to make this tunnel heading to, I guess, the main mining area. So we're just going to keep going, and then here we are. Yep, literally mined all the way to the edge of the world. Yep, same here. I don't even know if I even got too many diamonds out of this, considering that my armor is, pretty lackluster, but, you know, yeah, at some point, armor stops mattering in this world, because you just are too good at the game. You just survive everything, so, yeah. Also, we did have minecarts, as you guys can see, right? But you guys are probably wondering how this works without redstone. You see these powered rails back then, because redstone just wasn't, you know, added into the game. They just made power rails work without redstone, so, yeah. Pretty convenient. Does the job, gets us there, and that way we didn't have to walk through all these stairs. Pretty cool. And alright, let me send you back. Alright, never mind, you went back on your own. Okay, let me show you guys the Nether Reactor thing. Why can't I get through this door? Okay, whatever. As you guys can tell, I'm not used to the mobile controls anymore. What's in here? Oh, just like probably miscellaneous stuff. Okay. I remember I used to do this thing where I just left floating chests around. So, yeah. Oh, and I think here was my tree farm, or I was working on a tree farm. So, pretty cool. And let me show you guys this, because I do like the view up here. Alright, it's a little dark going up, and it takes a little bit, but when you get here, yep, you just have this cool, massive tower overlooking everything. So, pretty cool. I've always liked how this ended up looking, and there's actually a way to get around, too. If I go here, I think we're, like, on the edge of the world already. I'm pretty sure. So the worlds weren't too massive, but yeah, edge of the world literally right here. Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, I thought that was like it already, but all right, cool. Okay, now let's head to the Nether Reactor stuff, which you needed some things beforehand to do this, because I'm not gonna lie, it is something pretty dangerous to do. So, let me just go all the way down. Love the staircase, by the way. I really do miss this world. Sometimes I feel like I just want to, like, you know, because I do have updated versions of this world. Sometimes I feel like I just want to, like, continue and see what else I can build in this world, but not sure. Never really did it. Maybe I'll just play on an old update. We had a chicken farm here, so they're just swimming up there and dropping eggs, and then we got cows back here. Alright. I believe my chest room was down here. Let's go here. And first of all, we need to drop, like, a lot of stuff and put some light here, because I feel like mobs can just spawn here. Okay, there should be an empty chest. Alright, so first, when you do this, I'm just gonna say, make sure you have a lot of room in your inventory, because it's gonna suck if you don't, and you miss out on a lot of good drops. So there we go, we're just gonna drop what we don't need, and we definitely don't need these ladders, and low-key, these are kind of useless, and we should have a pretty good amount of space. I would also say keep your pickaxe in your inventory too, because this is going to be super useful. But okay. So first of all, I just realized we did need the cobblestone for this, so there we go. And then you do need gold. So oh yeah, first of all you need iron. So I think you needed 6 iron for this. And let's see, did I keep my diamonds here? Because we definitely did need diamonds. Okay, we have gold. We need 2 more blocks, so I think that much, right? And then, let's see if we can find my diamonds. They should be in one of these. There we go. We need 3 diamonds. Okay. So, go to the crafting table. You can craft another reactor core just like that. And you also need 2 more gold blocks. So, there we go. Also, our armor's kind of non-existent, so let's also make enough for like a chest plate and a piece of leggings. So, okay, I literally saw my iron earlier. I'm so dumb right now. I don't know why I don't have this, okay, anyways, okay, so that should be enough for that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for leggings. So, alright, let's make that real quick. So, chest plate, leggings, and that way we're as safe as possible. Okay, now, let's do this. Alright, so, for the Nether Reactor, what you need is a area that you don't care about. Because if I build it in here, it could genuinely just ruin all the stuff that I built here. So, make sure you go to, like, a pretty big space. So this tunnel just, like, kind of leads me out of the base. There's another way out, but this is a faster way. Plus, I can show you guys some more of my builds. So, you know, I just have a tower out here. I, just like everyone back then, for some reason, all of us just at least built 1 castle. So there we go. I have a massive house down here. I have a quarry that goes all the way to bedrock. Okay. You know, not really the most extravagant world, but, you know, I like it. I feel like I did a lot of work here. Okay. Let's go to sleep real quick. Where is my bed? There we go. Just so, you know, we can skip the night and not worry about mobs attacking us. Okay. So just like I said, right, you need, like, an area you don't care about. So you don't want to build this in your house. You don't want to build this near your house. You want to be as far away as possible. Because when you do the Nether Reactor, you get towers like these. As you guys can see, I've done it a few times, and yeah. Actually, I think my old Nether Reactor is probably in one of these, because you can actually reuse this thing. So, I made one for no reason, but yeah. Okay, so here, this is how you guys build the Nether Reactor. So, first of all, you need cobblestone. Build a plus sign of cobblestone on the ground with the Nether Reactor core on top of the middle one. You want the gold blocks to be on each corner over here. And then, on top of each gold block, you want to place cobblestone there as well. So, pretty simple, right? And then to finish this off, you want to place the cobblestone on top of here. As you guys see, it's going to say not the correct pattern because we're not done yet. And then there we go. And then I think you need a sword specifically. Actually, oh no, you don't. Okay, so you see we activated it. And okay, so you want to save as much of your gold as possible. Ooh, nope, couldn't save a third. All right, so the glowing obsidian happens. The zombie pigmen start spawning in, and I think they're already aggro towards you, so you want to defeat them because they will attack. And as you guys can see, items that you normally don't get or you normally do get do spawn around. So, you know, glowstone dust, that's how you get glowstone. Some worlds just do not have cactuses, so this is good. Quartz, sugarcane, and stuff like that spawn all the way around, and you just walk around getting as much of this as possible before the Nether Reactor stuff ends. So pretty cool. That's why I said, you know, empty your inventory and just start running around. All right. Yeah, and then when it ends, the world turns into nighttime, and that's pretty much it for that. So this is how you would get some cool stuff, and it takes a lot of resources, but you do get a lot of resources that you might not even encounter back. But like I said, you can actually get the Nether Reactor back, so break this. And as you guys can see, it's in there all blacked out, but when you break it, it turns back to normal. So pretty cool, and you can reuse that as long as you get the materials back. So ideally, you get all the gold back, and you leave a big mess here. And unfortunately, it does become nighttime. So pretty cool. And one last thing, you guys probably noticed that there's no tall grass, but I was able to have a wheat farm. All you guys need to do is, first of all, we need to actually go back to the base, and I can show you guys because we don't have the hoe. But all you guys need to do is fertilize soil, and you get lucky, and it will just, like, drop, I guess, seeds. So let me show you guys this. This is the entrance to the base, by the way. And I think I lit it up enough that we don't have to worry about mobs at night. I guess we can just craft one real quick. Do I have a crafting table anywhere? I feel like I should have a crafting table, like, everywhere, but I just don't. Either way, I have some here. Alright, let's craft one right now. So first of all, we need sticks. And we just use stone. Alright. So again, it's pretty random. But you would just have to keep doing this until a seed would drop. There we go, see? So that's how you got seeds back then, but yeah. Alright. I know. I thought this was a really cool video idea. It took a while for me to install this, so I was like, you know what? Let me just make a video so I feel like I'm at least getting something out of it. But I don't know, pretty nostalgic. I've always felt like I want to like come back to this world and just keep playing on it. I don't know if I wanted to update it or like just play on this update, but now that I have it like this, maybe I'll just keep playing like this. I don't know. Or if you guys want, maybe in the future we can do a series on an old version of Minecraft, since now I know how to do it. It's a little annoying, but I can do it, and yeah. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like something like that. So, if you guys did enjoy, drop down a like, subscribe, and let me actually fix this up while we can. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys, and hopefully I didn't ruin my grass too much. There we go. Alright, yeah. Bye, guys.